fiercest warrior of them all comes in the color green, in the form of Gamora. And even though at this point she has no recollection of her time after she became part of the Guardians of the Galaxy and her romance with Peter Quill, her future is bright, and it might take her anywhere, with us potentially being taken to her past in the form of a prequel standalone movie, depicting her time as being one of the two adopted Thanos daughters. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie, which will mark the last sequel of the trilogy directed by James Gunn, is probably going to be the best out of the three, partly because of what the movie story will shape the future of the MCU on the cosmic side of things, but also because of the most important element that was an essential detail about the previous two movies as well, the team dynamic, with each of the members having those well-needed set of abilities that complements the others. The Guardians are one of a kind because when compared to the other popular teams like the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, they are comprised of wildly different individuals from across the whole universe, which was also the main reason why we got to see some of the most entertaining moments of the franchise. With that said, one of those members is the adopted daughter of Thanos, Gamora. She is a natural warrior, very strong, agile, and fast. With her power cybernetically enhanced by Thanos, she was also the one to escape the clutches of her father first, which was one of the main reasons why she was able to gain more experience of what it's like to be an outcast in the far and wide galaxy, especially more experience in the ships and weapons department, eventually gaining the title of being deadliest woman in the galaxy. That is, before she joined the Guardians of the Galaxy team, which made her the hero we know her to be today. And even though she might not be as mighty as Groot, or as agile as Rocket Raccoon, her direct approach of close combat might be the best chance she has in every battle, which goes along very well with the notion that if she wants somebody killed, she will get it done, one way or another. This third Guardians of the Galaxy movie will also be the last one that will feature this iteration of the lineup we have been seeing for so many years now. And even though the Guardians were not that popular of a team in the comics, the 2014's movie skyrocketed their popularity, which was eventually the reason for a second movie, we supposed, and this third one that is about to be the best of the three. And despite being their last rodeo as a team lineup, considering their popularity, we think that Marvel will do everything they can to keep as many of them around as possible, which would definitely include Gamora. Probably one of the most conflicted characters because of her story so far, but also because of the alternate version of the character we have now present in the main timeline of the MCU. She has died once, and we don't think the MCU will do her dirty and kill her off once again, with her leaving the third movie as one of hopefully many survivors when the last scene cuts. Gamora will likely not be a part of the team at the beginning of the movie, as we saw her going a different direction after the events of the Infinity Saga, with the search for her side from the side of the Guardians probably being one of the main plots over the course of the movie, a search that might potentially set up Gamora's MCU future. And it could be a one without the Guardians of the Galaxy, at least for a time being. One of the most interesting things about the character in the third movie will be the relation between her and Star-Lord, as the Gamora that now exists has no recollection of anything that has happened between the two. Maybe this version will not be the one to want the same thing as the other Gamora we had. She could ultimately decide to go off on her own now that Thanos is dead. And on that note, we might be looking at a possible standalone movie of the character. And to know more about that, we will take a look of her return from Zoe Saldana's point of view for the character. Zoe Saldana opened up about her return for the role in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy movie and described it as a bittersweet one. She has consistently appeared in the MCU among the other Guardians to confront cosmic-level threats, a fierce warrior, with her developing a softer side standing alongside Star-Lord and the other members of the team on their adventures throughout the galaxy. And while her fate is still unclear, judging by the fact that we don't know anything about how this new version of Gamora feels, Saldana did well for us as she expressed her emotional return for the role, with her mostly sticking to the complicated story of her character, the death, and her subsequent return, with the character having so much understanding to do, just like all of us here. And while Saldana's return as Gamora is exciting, there has to be a reason or two for all of us to be nervous for some of the characters of the team. The previous movies had no qualms about sacrificing main characters, namely Groot in the first movie, only for him to return as a child, and Yondu in the second movie. And now we have reached a point where any of the Guardians could be the next one to make the sacrifice needed to save him or her friends, who by now have become a family, to say the least. However, we think that the sacrifice play will likely fall on anyone outside of Gamora, as she was the one to go from the original members of the team back in Avengers Infinity War. The most interesting news about the character, however, came straight from Zoe Saldana herself, as she expressed her feelings about a standalone movie for her character, a prequel that would explore more of her childhood, with the movie taking off right as she was taken in by Thanos after wiping Gamora's entire race from existence. There are a lot of unknown variables about the character, because firstly, the Gamora we have now in the MCU, as we said before, is another version of the character from an alternate past timeline, and secondly, we are still without any news of her appearing in the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder movie, for which the other Guardians have already been confirmed of making an appearance. Seth Green, who has been lending his voice for the cameo character Howard the Duck, said that the story of the threequel will focus a lot around Gamora and Nebula, adding even more to the fact of just how important the role of Saldana will be in the next cosmic adventure of the group of misfits. Out of all the characters she portrayed, Saldana said that she is the most excited about Gamora and a further exploration of the character, especially the past, how she got to where she is right now, and the short character's adoption by Thanos made her eager to know more about that period onward. The extinction of her species put a lot of weight on Gamora's shoulders, and how she handled it could probably be one of the moving points in her life. And based on what we have read and heard about her upcoming appearance in the form of the third Guardians movie, her wish might just come true. A project focusing on pre-Guardians Gamora, a process that is worth unpacking, as all the unprocessed trauma comes pouring out of her. Whatever the case may be, even if there is an idea about a project of this kind, we will have to wait a bit before anything comes to fruition. Nevertheless, despite being a long shot, we should keep Gamora's story in mind and see where her next outing will leave her, and from that point on, see where her next endeavors might take her. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Gamora as a character, her journey so far, but also her future? What would you like to see the MCU do with her, especially if there is a standalone movie about her on the horizon? And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.